Ladies and gentlemen, we meet again toward Parashat Shoftim. And we have a whole list of mitzvot in this week's parasha, 41 mitzvot. And out of these mitzvot, some are not personal mitzvot, they are national mitzvot. And one of the national mitzvot is appointing a king. Som tasim alecha melech. In fact, some of the commentators say Som tasim alecha melech. That means you have to appoint your own king. That means it has to be on democratic choice. The point of the king is very, very interesting because the king, when we have a king in the land of Israel, that means we have our own sovereignty. And our own sovereignty is very important because Shmuel tells us in the Talmud, in Shabbat, Daf Samach Gimel, that the only difference between this world and the world to come, that means Geula Shleimo, the only difference is, do we have our own sovereignty? And this is actually not just one of the ideas mentioned in the Talmud of what Geula really talks about, but that is the only component that the Rambam brings down in Mishnah Torah, in Hilchot Melachim, towards the end, Sefer Shoftim, how do we know the Geula has arrived? When we have our own sovereignty. Ladies and gentlemen, Baruch Hashem, already 77 years we have our own sovereignty. Is this called a king? Is our prime minister called a king or not? We can debate, but it means we have our own sovereignty. Now, what is very interesting about this point is that in the Rambam it also states that when we get to our land, in order to establish our sovereignty in the land, we need to do three things, not only to appoint a king, but the second thing is we have to fight Amalek. We have to fight our enemies. It's not only enough to do good, we also have to fight the bad in the world. And then the third one is building Beis Hamikdash. It's not only good enough to do good and fight bad, but we have to establish our relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu in Yerushalayim HaKodesh and rebuild the third Beit Hamikdash. Now, these three steps are very central, and they're brought down already in the Gemara in Sanhedrin, Daf Kaf, that these are the three steps, and they need a certain sequence. There has to be, first of all, a king, Jewish sovereignty. Second of all, fighting Amalek, and only then building the Beis Hamikdash. This sequence of events also makes us understand much better the life of Shaul HaMelech and King Saul, and makes us understand the life of King David, because the first thing they want to do is fight Amalek, and because they want to bring about the third stage, which is bringing a Beis Hamikdash. Neither of them managed until the days of King Solomon. Later, that he managed to get to the third stage, which was building a Beis Hamikdash. This is the sequence of events, and we find it interestingly in our Parashot. We are now in Parashat Shoftim, where we see about a king, and the previous parasha, Parashat Re'eh, we saw it talks about building our own Beis Hamikdash and going to the Beis Hamikdash 3 times a year. L'shichnot hidreshu vata shama. We have to make a place for the Shechina to settle amongst us in that Beis Hamikdash. This week is the king, and next week is Kiteitzei, where we talk about Mechiat Amalek, about fighting Amalek, the mitzvah of fighting Amalek. So in these three Parashat Re'eh, Shoftim, and Kiteitzei, we have all these three elements, although not exactly in the right sequence. Today in the land of Israel, whether we accept it or not, that is a discussion whether we accept that the past 77 years of Jewish sovereignty in the state of Israel, is that considered malchut? Is that considered a kingdom? Is that considered having a king? Well, it's definitely considered sovereignty. And therefore we are ready for 2 years almost in a fight against Amalek. I mean, what they did to us on the 7th of October is definitely Amalek type stuff, and we have to fight it, and we have to make sure we get rid of Amalek before we get to the third stage, which will be back to Beis Hamikdash and getting to the third stage. Interestingly enough, also Rav Tzadok HaKohen from Lublin and also the Nativot Shalom from Slonim bring this on a personal level as well. Let's go from the national level to the personal level. And they say that we as individuals, we know that these three parashot, Re'eh, Shoftim, Kitetze, come out in the beginning of Elul, a time when we are reflecting and we're thinking of tshuva, and we are thinking towards Yom Hadin, and we're trying to go through a personal process. And what is the personal process? The personal process also has these three elements in it. First of all, Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah is Melech, HaMelech HaKadosh. We mention HaMelech, and all the time we're talking about his kingdom, and we blow the shofar to show HaKadosh Baruch Hu's kingdom in the world. And the minute we appoint HaKadosh Baruch Hu on us, on ourselves, that is the first level of tshuva. And then the second level of tshuva, he says, as they say, is Aseres Yemei Tshuva. We have 10 days to go against Amalek. We have to fight our Yetzer Hara, and we have to fix up what is not good, and then we can get to the third stage, which is Beis Hamikdash. What is Beis Hamikdash? Yom Kippur. We fast all day. We're in shul most of the day, and we have our own Beis Hamikdash and our own. We go through this process. What is brought down in these parashot on a national level, we have to go through on a personal level towards Yom Kippurim in order to get to Shuvot Shalema, in order to fix up our personal life. But also we want to continue on the national level now that we have almost half of Am Yisrael settled in the land of Israel and in Jewish sovereignty. We're fighting Amalek. We have to continue and finish this fight against Amalek, and then we can build Beis Hamikdash b'mheru b'yameinu.